Hello, this is the Soundproof Windows installation video for the Zero International 367 automatic door bottom seal. You will need the following tools and supplies for the installation: safety glasses, a pencil, 2 1/4-inch shims, a hacksaw, a tape measure, a speed square, a Phillips and flathead screwdriver or a drill with a Phillips and flathead insert, a 1/8-inch drill bit, and a pair of scissors to cut the seal. The installation of the 367 seal should be installed once the installation of the swing door is complete and the final floor is in place. The first thing we want to do is measure the clear opening of your door from blind stop to blind stop. So I've got a clear opening of 36 1/8. Then we need to measure the 367. We want to measure from the side with the actuator. So my 367 is 36 1/8. We want the 367 to be about 1/4 inch smaller than the clear opening. So we want to cut this down to 35 7/8. Go ahead and make your mark. And then square that mark all the way around on all 3 sides to make your cut. We want to remove the seals from the inner channel, so just enough that we can cut off the excess metal. We do not want to cut the rubber seals at this point. We will cut the seals later. Be careful not to tear the seals while pulling them back. Then you want to go ahead and gently push the inner channel back in, being careful once again to not tear the seals, so we get a nice square cut on the metal. So then go ahead and put the 367 on a flat surface with the seal side up and cut at your mark using a hacksaw. You've cut the excess metal off. You need to reinstall the seals in the inner channel. Make sure to clean off all the metal shavings. Press this one back in on the inner channel, and then this one just pops back into that groove. Feel it as you press along. And the actuator screw all the way in so it's flush with the end of the 367. This pulls the seal up, so this is the adjustment screw. You want to place a 1/4-inch shim in each corner of the door. You want to make sure the door is closed, and we're working from the interior side, or the side that is opposite the hinges. Go ahead and place the 367, the seals, down on top of the 1/4-inch shim. And mark the top. And you also want to mark the side where it meets the door panel meets the blind stop. And we want to do the same on the other side. So mark the top, the height, and then also where the blind stop meets the door panel. Now we want to open the door all the way so it's resting up against the opposite side of the wall. And you can use a door stop once it's open to keep it in place. So once you have the door propped open all the way, you want to go ahead and align the 367 with the marks that we made. I like to put a couple of shims underneath just to help get it close. Go ahead and open the package of screws and end caps. Just want the 4 install screws. We're going to discard the end caps. We don't use those for our application. So go ahead and align it to the height. You'll notice there's a little bit of a difference on the width. Our marks are a little bit bigger than 367, so just spread that evenly between the 2 sides. I've got about a 1/16 on either side. Then go ahead and drill the install hole. You want to make sure that the actuator is on the side towards the hinge. We want to install the first screw, check our height. Then we want to do the same thing on the opposite side. Check our height. drill the install hole. Install the next install screw. And then just confirm that our height is correct for our marks and drill the other install holes and install the screws. Once the installation is complete, we want to back out the adjustment screw in the actuator so that it lowers the 367 into place and that the actuator will make contact with the blind stop when it closes. So I like to adjust it about 1/8 of an inch from the ground, about halfway. So now we want to close the door and make sure that the actuator makes contact with the blind stop and pushes the seal down. The rubber seals will take up the extra space in there. So as long as we're making contact with that actuator and everything looks good, we'll be fine. Now we need to cut the excess rubber off. So take note of how much of a distance there is between the 367 and the blind stop. As you can see from here, I've got about 1/8 of an inch on either side. So we're going to uninstall the 367 and then trim the seal. Once you've uninstalled the 367, we need to cut the seal back a little bit because there's excess. So I like to cut it on a 45 so that it kind of crams the seal into the gap in between the door panel and the blind stop. So I like to turn it on its side and just barely cut it on an angle. I say a 45, but it usually doesn't come out quite a 45. So we're just trying to take up some of the excess rubber and give us 1/8 to 1/4 more on the long side. Then go ahead and reinstall the 367. Once the 367 is reinstalled, I'm going to go ahead and close the door. Make sure that the actuator pushes the seal down all the way to the floor. So you can usually stick a flathead screwdriver under there and make sure that you're making contact all the way along. It looks like we are. You can also do an ear test, put some noise on the other side, and make sure that you don't hear any noise coming in through the bottom. If you need to adjust it, you can turn the actuator screw and bring it down or up just a little bit more to make sure it's not dragging and making contact all the way across the bottom once it's closed. That concludes the installation of the 367. For more information regarding Soundproof Windows products, please visit www.soundproofwindows.com.